Nation, this is Captain Jack here, and I am pleased to bring you one of a series of interviews I'm going to be doing with Raider players as we go do the Black Shield and Galleon Wheel webcast here on YouTube. And definitely want everybody to come on over and join the party. We have Raider great Reggie Kinlaw, number 62, from the Raider winning teams of Super Bowl 15 and 18. I got a lot of questions for Mr. Kinlaw, and but before I go into these questions, I want to turn over the microphone to Reggie himself. Reggie, it's great hearing from you, sir, and thank you for joining us on this broadcast, sir.
Well, Captain Jack, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, sir. And I was looking at obviously some of the talking points that I was going to bring up, and obviously the first point that came up that I saw in your bio is that you're from Miami originally, sir, and you went played high school ball down there.
Yes, I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I played high school ball at Miami Springs.
Okay, well, being a Gator alum, I guess the first question I have is, how in the heck did you get out of the state of Florida where you have the University of Miami, the University of Florida Gators, of course, those Seminoles up there in Tallahassee? How the hell did they let you get out of the state?
Well, they recruited me very heavy. I signed a letter of intent with University of Florida. I made the decision on my own after watching Oklahoma play every Sunday in Miami. No, every Saturday morning in Miami, watching the Selman brothers play, and I just made the decision that I'm going to go to Oklahoma and learn from one of the best. Leroy and Dewey Selman.
Well, I mean, you can't beat a Hall of Famer and his brother. Obviously, the first two choices of my I say my local. They're not my team, but they are my local team here in Tampa, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's always a trivia question that I get. Bucs fans are. They said, "Well, I know all about the Bucs," and I said, "Well, who's the first pick?" And they say Leroy Selman. I said, "Well, who was the second pick?" And a lot of people don't know that Dewey was the second pick of the Bucs. So it's a sucker bet, but it'll get you a Coke and a beer sometimes, depending upon how much you want to wager.
Yeah, well, just watching those guys. I mean, and then I was coached by Lucius Selman, so I was kind of thinking of the next level. Not after college, you go to the pros. So I learned from the best, one of the best.
Got you there. Now, playing for a team, that was a dynamic as the what do you call it? The Sooners were in the 70s and 80s. I'm obviously you played with a lot of good players, but the thing I'm going to ask you about as well is, first off, what is it like playing for Barry Switzer in that era?
Well, Barry was he was like a coach player. I mean, this guy, he know every position. He know what you did in high school. And he'll just tell you right up front if you're not practicing hard. One time he was on this big old boom, one of his lifts, watching practice. And he hollered down to me, he said, "Reggie Kinlaw, if you practice like that every day, you'll be a two-time All-American." And I'm looking at this guy like, okay. And hey, when he say something, it came true. I was two-time All-American. And
what were the other, obviously the Selmans were a big influence with you with coming to Oklahoma. And they were gone by 77 with the inception of the Bucs. What other greats did you get a chance to play with over there in Oklahoma? Anybody that I'm sure would capture capture us in memory?
Well, the Selmans, they didn't leave until 79. My freshman year, they were still there. Joe Washington, we had Billy Brooks, we had guys, we had great players, a lot of great players, but some of the guys I came in with, you might recognize as Billy Sims.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny King, Greg Roberts, he played for Tampa. Daryl Hunt, George Cumbie. It had to be at least 12 of us came in that year. And to make a long story short, at the end of the year, we had like 12 players got drafted in 79.
Right. And again, that's a hell of a team. Now, you won the national championship. Which year was that? Was that the prior year?
That was 75.
Okay, so
yeah.
Wow. So you win the national championship in your freshman year, or did you redshirt a year?
No, that was my freshman year. I was on special teams.
Okay. So
yeah.
I mean, and you again, Oklahoma was always the strength of the Big 12 at that time. I mean, I don't even recall, other than maybe Texas, a competitor in within your conference that would even give you guys any flack for the conference championship. I mean, and I know that at that time as well that you're playing a lot of the bigger programs. So, I mean, did you get a chance to see any of your former high school teammates maybe playing for the U or the Gators or anything like that during your career as well?
Well, hold on. Let's go back. Back when I was playing, it was the Big Eight.
Apologies. Yeah.
Yeah. And Nebraska, it was Nebraska and Oklahoma every year that will fight to see who goes to the Orange Bowl. So the 4 years I was there, I went to the Orange Bowl 3 years out of the 4 years. Texas game was just that was just a regular game every year. We always played Texas. It was a rivalry between the big the Red River,
right?
You know, Oklahoma and Texas. Texas didn't get into the Big 12 until later on. I mean, I think it was the early 2000s or something like that.
Okay. Well, again, apologies there. Again, I remember.
Right. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, when you can pull one up over on the old Graybeard, that's good for you, sir. I mean, I know that that rivalry was always intense with the Red River rivalry, and I know that Dr. Tom always had his good teams at Nebraska, but I didn't quite remember that Texas. What conference was Texas playing with at that time?
Oh well, I don't remember, but they wasn't in the Big Eight because it was just Big Eight. It was just 8 teams in the Big Eight.
Right.
You had Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. Who else? It was only like 8 teams in the Big Eight.
Right. Well, I'm sure that you and the Oklahoma State brethren that we've already had on the famous quarterback, the backup for the Raiders, that always gives us a lot of good thrills when we talk to him. I'm sure that you have some good discussions with him as well.
Who's that?
Oh, the name is escaping me. He played for Oklahoma State. He was my first interview. My goodness, he was the Raiders' backup for many years. Oh gosh, and again, I'm trying to think of it. And he was the first.
Oh no! You talking about Dave Hum?
No, sir. Dave Hum went to Nebraska.
Oh, okay, all right. What a backup quarterback?
Yeah, boy, I'm gonna shoot myself, and he's gonna shoot me because again, he was the first interview that I had, and is again, I do not have Alzheimer's or any problems like that, but of course when. Well, I'm not gonna touch that until you delve into it as well. The gentleman was one of the Raiders that is fighting cancer right now.
Oh, you talking about Rusty?
Thank you, Rusty Hilger. Oh, thank you for saving me. Yeah, and
Okay,
he's
all right. Let me correct you again now, okay?
okay. Oh, I'm getting
Rusty,
into it. All these people are.
Rusty went to Oklahoma State.
Yes, sir. I said that you and him must have had the, that intense back and forth while you were with teammates. Is what that was my comments as far as that was that you guys.
Rusty got there when I left. He was there in the late '80s. I had already retired.
Ah, okay. So
yeah,
I'm sure you guys give it to each other at the alumni, and I'm going to get to that alumni question in a bit. But again, playing for OU, and again playing Dr. Tom and the boys in Nebraska, and again you even mentioned a couple of the Nebraska cohorts that you had, like with David Hum, the backup for the Raiders in the '70s as well. But you win the national championship, and I hate saying it. What happened after that prevented you from maintaining that great degree of prominence? I mean, yeah, I'm sure that you can tell me. Was it injuries or just you hit freight trains along the way?
Well, I think the following year, which was my sophomore year, I hurt my knee like the 8th game of the season against Colorado. So I'm not saying it was because of me, but we were just kind of feeling ourselves. We had a lot of players that left and got drafted, and we had to fill those spots. So it was kind of like a rebuild. And then our junior year, I think we had a chance. We had a chance to win the national championship because we were playing Arkansas, and I think Notre Dame lost. So if we'd beat Arkansas, we'd have won the national championship my junior year. But that didn't happen. Something crazy went on, and I can't talk about it.
Okay, well, I that surprises me because, and I'm not trying to pick a fight with any Razorback here, but I don't ever recall Arkansas having any good teams back then. So again, you're throwing some good knowledge my way.
Okay.
But if you say so, obviously you were there.
Well, Arkansas was it Arkansas? They had a second string running back gained 200 and some yards on us.
Wow.
In Orange Bowl. I mean, because the starter was suspended and he didn't make the trip. But so the second string running back, I believe it was Arkansas. I'm pretty sure it was Arkansas. I got that little concussion stuff going on, but I think it was.
Okay.
And then my senior year, we ended up playing Nebraska in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
So, and we had a good run. I mean, the 4 years I was there, we was 41, 6-1. So it wasn't that bad.
I think the operative words were you did not suck and you played well, but but you do have a ring in college, and that's something that you can put in along with the other two that we'll get to in a bit as well. So
yeah.
we leave Oklahoma after that, like you said, those 46 6-1 or whatever the record is. I believe that was close.
41 6-1.
Okay, I knew there was a 6 in there again. So 41 6-1. You leave Oklahoma. You're drafted in round 12 by the Raiders. Now, obviously, people today don't realize that the NFL used to have at least those 12 rounds of the NFL draft. So if you're not drafted by the 7th round, you are a free agent. So obviously the Raiders saw something good in you, but what is the difference of when you were drafted then as to, now, I mean, pretty much describe how you found out and what the hoopla was coming to you and your family, knowing that you were drafted by a team that was dominant during the 70s.
Well, to tell you the truth, I think the second day I was waiting around for a phone call because, they used to call us. They had this big old show they got now. I didn't get a call. Went to the gym. I started playing basketball. And one of my friends came in the gym, told me I got drafted by the Raiders in the 12th round. And my heart started beating. I'm like, boo, 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 boo. I said, okay, hey, the Raiders? Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's okay with me. I'm still pissed off because of the 12th round.
Yeah.
The reason why it 12th round because of my size. I was, 235 in college playing nose guard at 6'2". And that is not considered a down lineman in the NFL. Your down lineman is 6'4" and up, 260 and up. So I'm undersized. But after talking to my parents, they was excited. I was excited. And I was looking forward to going to camp.
Well, maybe undersized in the program, but again, like Barry Switzer said, the ability and the toughness and the sure, I'm sure there are words that you can say. Basically, you kicked ass and you're on the field, and you can't take what the package is to not know how much the heart and soul of a person is. And that's why you made it there, sir. And that's why you were a stalwart among the defensive linemen. But again, when you go to Raiders camp, did somebody say, hey, Reggie, we're gonna make you an outside linebacker, or was there any sort of maybe a change in positions that were discussed your first year in camp?
Well, when I got to camp, they used me as a defensive end, and once the season started, I was like the fourth man came in on the pass rush, and then I played a lot of special teams. So after that first year was over with, they brought me into camp early, and they tried to, had me working out an inside linebacker. So I did all the drills early and stuff like that. The coach staff, the scouts, Al Davis, they all was out there watching me do these little drills. So once camp started my second year, they drafted a guy by the name of Matt Millen. So Matt Millen came in, they put him in the middle, and they said, we're going to have to find somewhere for you to play. And I ended up staying in nose guard.
And now, obviously, the first, between your first and second year, there's normally that big spurt of weight gain and strength. So by that time, what were your measurables for the Raiders at that time?
Well, I got up to about 240.
Wow.
I played my whole career at 245 or 250.
Partner, I wish I was 250 at this point, because I would look a hell of a lot better right now if I was 250. So, but the package is the fact that you're strong, you're fast, and you can take on the opponents that you were playing against. In fact, that's one of the things I wanted to ask about is who were some of the toughest matchups that you had as a defender along the line? And then we'll also get to who are your toughest people that you played with for the Raiders. But I want to talk about your opponents at this time. Who are some of your more memorable matchups while you were playing?
The guy down there in Florida by the name of Dwight Stevenson.
Oh yeah, the All-Pro and the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, if you remember that guy, oh man, he was a headache. He was a damn headache. He was the best center I ever played against. And, I'm not taking nothing away from Mike Weber from the Steelers. He was pretty good. Dave Bush from Cincinnati. He was not Cincinnati, but Seattle. He was pretty good too. But Dwight Stevenson, let me tell you, man, he put me on my ass a couple times.
Well,
he was the true deal right there.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
And
know,
he wasn't that big either.
oh, well, I mean, it's a pound on pound ability and just leverage, and I'm sure that you used a lot of leverage, being the fact that you were, as you stated, you were undersized, but you continually make the plays by plugging the middle and making sure that nobody got by you. What were your best techniques, and how did you use that to your advantage?
Well, one of the things I want to give credit to is University of Oklahoma and Dewey Selman. Not Dewey Selman and Lucius Selman. Lucius was my coach. Now, back then in the Big 8, all they did was run the ball. They didn't throw the ball. It was every down. It was a run, run, run. Every blue moon, you'll see a team throw the ball. Maybe Missouri or somebody like that. I give all that credit to them. That's one of the reasons I wanted to go to Oklahoma, because, you know, it taught me leverage, how to get good leverage. My bottom base from my waist on down was big. I had good hands, and one of the main things I count on was quickness.
Well, I mean, and obviously that's the game. Now, you obviously subscribe to usually the guy that's on the lower side of the pads is going to be able to
make the play.
There you go. Yes, sir. Well, you actually had some folks beside you as well that were instrumental. The folks that were on either side of you, and also the folks that were playing behind you. You already mentioned Matt, but what are some of your favorite stories for the folks that you played with along the line?
Well, I tell you, my rookie year, I was so gung-ho to make this team, and I used to line up in front of Gene Upshaw, and Gene Upshaw used to tell me, "Hey, Rook, slow it down, slow it down." He used to tell me sometimes, he'd say, "Hey, you done made the team, slow it down, and he'd give me this. He'd make his hand out with you, saying, "Hey, it's union today. I don't feel like chasing your ass all over the place, or I ain't in the mood today. So you know, just kind of just ease it up a little bit." Art Shell, one day he was hurt in camp, and Gene Upshaw told all the rookies that Art don't feel good, so he wanted all us to stand up on top of the table and sing our alma mater. That went great. Matuzak, he had me lining up all the defensive line helmets in camp. It's just so many stories, like Ted Hendricks, the great Ted Hendricks, we kind of got real close because he went to Hialeah, Florida, and I went to Miami Springs, and we was rivalries in high school. So we had that good relation. Rod Martin, he was a 12th round draft choice, and I was a 12th round draft choice. So we had that relationship. Greg Townsend, Howie Long, Bill Piquel, Lau Zeta, Bob Nelson, Lester. I mean, we had some great players, just had great players.
And I tell you, for folks to get a chance to listen to players in your era talking about the game and talking about the greats that were on the team, and getting a chance to listen to those experiences, or if they have a chance to get a chance to read the abundance of book about that era. I mean, I'm sure that there are things that you'd like to say, but knowing that you wish to keep some things obviously on a teammate level for personal, we do appreciate you breaking the ice on some of that as well. And I'm sure that there are wonderful stories that some could be published and some would better off not. Now, having said that, have you ever thought about writing a book about your experiences?
No. Hey, I always say when I go places, one of the things I always thank the Davis family, Mr. Davis, for giving me an opportunity to play for a great team. Not only did we have a great team, we had a great coaching staff. Tom Flores was one of the best. I mean, my defensive line coach, he passed away, Earl Leggett. He was great. Coordinator, he was great. We had a great team, and the scouts that bring up that brought all us together. And the Raiders is a great organization. I try telling these people out here in Vegas, they better be, they need to look forward to what they're about to get in the next couple of years, because the Raiders is a first-class organization. They do everything first class, and that's all.
Well, I'm glad you gave me a segue. It's a little bit early for it, but I'm gonna ask it while you already put it out. Obviously, you mentioned Vegas, and are you actively there now, or you spent a lot of time there? As I saw that you were coaching high school varsity, or how up to date is that Wikipedia page?
Oh, that's old news, way old news. I moved to Vegas 4 years ago.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah, and I've been out here for 4 years. In the last 2 years, the Raiders have, they have kept me busy. I've been doing things for the high schools. Last Thursday, I did a football clinic for high school, the offense and the defensive line. Autograph sections. We have this Play 60 for all the high schools and stuff. So I've been doing a lot of promoting, reading for the kids, all kinds of stuff. They've been keeping me busy for the last two years.
Well, again, I appreciate that. I can only go with the information I got. So that actually was one of my questions, is get us up to date on what you've been doing. So the last 4 years, you've been leading that path to get the Las Vegas Raiders into the hearts and minds of the folks in and along the strip. So we're going to be really happy for that. And a question from Mr. Ed Winchell, one of my regular subscribers, who says he would like to ask you what your greatest thrill was during your Raider career.
My greatest what?
Your greatest thrill.
My greatest thrill? Oh man, well, I got a couple of them. I mean, second year in the league, playing in a Super Bowl.
that I'm sure that would be one.
And this is my number one. I'm with Washington, playing the Washington Redskins, and I'm sitting on the table getting tape, and my defensive line coach comes up to me. This is my second year in the league, and he goes, "You starting today?" I went. My mouth opened up and my heart just dropped all the way down to my foot, and it was a thrill. I was something I was looking forward to, something I worked hard for, and I got that opportunity and then never looked back.
Now, who did you come in for, or who did you actually replace on roster to get that starting spot?
Well, you might remember this guy named too. Dave Pear used to play for Tampa Buccaneers.
Oh, Dave Pear. Yeah, I remember Dave Pear.
Yeah, he was all pro when I got there, because I think they picked him up I think it was my rookie year there. He was his first year there too. So he started my freshman year, and then I took over. I don't know if it was a preseason game or regular season game. My second year in the league.
Well,
so, yeah, I took over for him.
You get the opportunity. You go to the Super Bowl. Your second year, you're playing the Eagles in New Orleans. Any memories that you or like I said, walk us through if you can, because always Raider fans like to hear about tell us about those Super Bowl wins. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but if you can like compare and contrast those two games for us, so we can like live vicariously through you, Reggie.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. I mean, the first year I think we was wild card and make it to the Super Bowl, and I was so young, and I to this day I still don't believe it. I mean, just how many guys can say your second year you go to the Super Bowl when you have players like Matuzak, Ted Hendricks, Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, Van Egan, and Jim Plunkett back there, and it was the highlight of my career. It was a highlight of my career. I mean, and it kind of paid off. From Pop Warner to high school to college to the pros. In the second one, it was mind blowing because I got a chance to play. We played in Tampa Bay, and my whole family. I had like 40 people at the game. I had family and friends, and guys I played ball with at Miami. They was there, and some people keep telling me that that was the best game I ever played in my career. The Washington Redskins, and I met Joe Theismann at a signing a couple of years ago, and he came up to me and he said, I keep telling Marcus Allen he shouldn't have been MVP. You should have been MVP because you just messed up our whole offense.
You did dominate that game, yeah.
You hear things like that, it makes you feel good. But hey, I'm a humble person. I'm gonna always be humble. I played with some great guys. I didn't get the ink or the stardom like everybody else got, but hey, I did my job. Everybody else was doing their job, and we all can't be superstars, and I understand that. And I played with some of the best, so that's my story. I'm sticking with it.
Well, no, and again, I appreciate the humbleness, Reggie, but for those of us who know, okay, us old dudes saying that when like I said, Reggie Kinlaw was a dominating force in the middle, and size does not tell the story. It's the fact, the ability, and all that you did for that defense. Because again, they would concentrate on Lyle, they would concentrate on Hallie, they would concentrate on Greg Townsend, and people say people don't understand that Greg Townsend actually holds the record for sacks as a Raider, and he doesn't get as much pub as he should. And that Rod Martin should have been the MVP of Super Bowl 15 with 3 interceptions. And that, I tell everybody that, Jim Plunkett got the MVP, but Rod Martin there's never been somebody with 3 interceptions in the Super Bowl, and that is the reason why Rod Martin should be that. Whether sight unseen, the fact is that you were a big cog. You didn't get the pub, but the folks that know the Raiders as us old people do, and you're young. I'm sure you're like maybe you're only in your 30s or 40s. I'm just old. But we remember, because I'm sure as you get older, you get younger, Mr. Kinlaw. So I'm just saying, you're going through Benjamin Button stuff, because, like I said, the older you get, the younger you get. I'm just getting old, okay? But us old folks remember. The old folks remember. That's for sure. Right. Now I got another question from Jimmy Farrell, and he said that. Ask Reggie what it was like playing with John Matusak, and I'm not going to ask the full thing on that there, Jimmy, because that's a little bit too personal. But playing with John Matusak, I guess they wanted to know about any sort of problems that John, or in this case as well, Lyle, they all have had their stories told And I guess people want to know what it was like playing with dynamic forces like Lyle and JUN, and how it might have affected the locker room.
No, well, but Tuesday, he just wow. I mean, he was just wow. I don't know if you guys probably remember when we played in New Orleans, and he gets in the locker room and he tells everybody, don't be hanging out late. We here for one reason, blah 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 blah. And then he get caught on damn Bourbon Street after curfew, and made a big stink about it. After that fact, they had security guard watch his door all every night until we left. Lyle was a real nice person when he wasn't on that stuff. I'm gonna put it like that.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, he was a hell of a football player. I mean, some of the stuff that he be telling the opposite players, I just can't believe it. I mean, this is a guy that say, "I'll kill your kids, I'll kill your mama, don't touch me." I mean, I'm looking at this guy like, okay, Lyle, you can't tell nobody that. That's the mentality he had once he strapped that helmet on. But when he had the helmet off, he's a real nice guy, nice family, And another crazy one was, I ain't gonna say crazy, but had their own personality, was Ted Hendricks.
Yes.
But Ted was just Ted.
And the stories of him riding into camp on a horse, and
oh yeah. Another thing he did when we moved to LA, he said, "Hey, I'm not driving in that traffic." So he went and got him a limousine. And one of the guys that used to work for the Raiders, I think he was like, one of the little guys answer the phone or did, little dirty work around it. He hired him as a chauffeur. So
that's
those are things Ted like to do.
Hey, if you have the money to do it, then so be it, and good on you.
Yeah.
Now, actually, you brought up a one point. You were involved in the move from Oakland to Los Angeles. Obviously, the Raiders are moving from Oakland to Las Vegas. Now, you're already there in Vegas, laying some of the groundwork there. But what are the things that this team will have to look forward to this lame duck year in Oakland, and how would you suggest that the team in its present stature, what can they do to best give them a head start for launching into Vegas in 2020?
Well, I tell you what, they're gonna have a nice stadium over there, and they're gonna have a nice little practice field too, with 3 football fields. I mean, it's going to be first class here. I mean, the first move, I wasn't too happy about when I was in Oakland and we moved to LA, because I love Oakland fans. I mean, the fans are great, and I really do feel sorry for them. But the stadium is a piece of crap, okay?
Yeah, that's being nice.
It's just junk. I mean, I go to Oklahoma every year, watch a football game, and they got top of the line. I mean, everything, the stadium, from the practice field to the locker rooms, and you can't compare that with what the Raiders are playing in right now. Now, who plays on a baseball field, a preseason game?
Yeah.
That's not professional. But, I try telling people out here, they're going to get a first-class organization, and once the Raiders football team move out here, they're going to have to play up to par, because we got the Golden Knights. Their first year here, they went to the Stanley Cup. They didn't win it, but the people here just went crazy. I started watching hockey, and I ain't never watched hockey. I mean, I went to a game or two, and they love it. when you giving your best. So they're gonna have to come out here and step it up.
I'm trust me, the fans that are like me that dress Violator, Gorilla, those of us that dress out, we are obviously 100% behind the move over there. And actually, Matt Marinovich, who is related to Todd, I think he said he's a cousin or something. He's one of my viewers. He said, and he asked you, please ask him to bring up to the top brass of the Raiders to let super fans like Violator and Gorilla, and again from yours truly, Captain Jack, have a registration to allow them to get into the Las Vegas Stadium. Apparently, there is rumors, and I will only simplify it, say it as rumors, that the age of the Raider super fan is no more. Now, I don't know whether you were watching the draft this year, but the folks that were out there with all of the other fans of the NFL that were in Nashville, and I was there in Nashville, the Raiders were the only team that did not allow the folks that actually dress for occasions to be in the quote unquote the inner circle. And there were plenty of other super fans that dressed out and got that experience about being in the inner circle. And I guess the question is why is it that the Raiders presently are looking to, shall we say, not have that core of super fans there that signify a big portion of the fan base? I guess, and I asked that question as well. What is the thinking behind that, or do you know, or is there something that can be done about that?
Well, I don't have no control over that. I don't know nothing about it, but I did overheard a couple of people saying something about the black hole. They're not bringing the black hole out here. I'm like, what are you talking about? We don't want the black hole out here because, we're all that tailgate and stuff because all these people bring trouble. I'm like, they are coming to watch a game and they're going back home. They don't live here. So I kind of heard something about that. That was like 2 years ago when they first said that the Raiders was coming here. But I haven't heard anything lately about it. So I really couldn't tell you if it's true or not. I can ask around, but I don't know who you can contact and ask, but I really don't know nothing about it.
Well, I appreciate that, Reggie. I think that the statement is that folks that dress are not folks that get weekend passes out of Lompoc and Chino, and that we actually are stalwart citizens, and we just like to dress to embolize our simpatico with the team. And I think that's one of the things that we want to make sure does not get lost on the move to Vegas. I mean, I know that there are going to be a lot of different things coming from the change and transition from Oakland to Vegas, but I've been a Raider fan since I lived in Philadelphia as a kid. Now, you talk about being a fan from Philly and being a Raider fan and getting a chance to be the number one fan that I know, and I've been a fan for almost 50 years. Now, granted, I've only been dressing out as Captain Jack. I believe you saw me dressed out as Captain Jack when we met at the mall.
Right.
So
yeah.
Again, that's me. I am a retired Navy chief, and that symbolizes, like my military career, my saltiness, and my quote-unquote Raiderness, shall we say. And there are plenty of people that dress in their own method, and we want to make sure that we are a part of Raider Nation that doesn't get snuffed out in the move. And that's probably something that Matt was talking about. We want to make sure that we are there because we're 100% behind the team, and we don't want to be looked upon as something that's a negative aspect.
Yeah, you guys part of the diehard fans. I mean, real diehard fans. And you very seldom. I mean, it is a lot of diehard fans out there, but I mean, you guys started this way before these other teams started it.
Yes, that's right.
Now, every other team is jumping on bandwagons now. You see all kind of costumes in the stadiums now, but I think you guys should be a part of it. I mean, they shouldn't 86 you guys out of nothing. I mean, it should be a black hole here. That's the Raiders.
Well, I think the black hole aspect is actually a legal aspect of the gentleman that owns the naming rights to that. So I believe that's the one reason why is that's different.
Okay.
So, but having an area that for, they because of the naming rights, I understand that having that not being named the black hole, that's a legal issue, but not being able to have the crowd there being at who we are is something that has been put out, and we just want to make sure that. And I'm ready to be out there talking with whoever in a positive way. I know Wayne is, and Mark, and all the other people. That's Violator and Grillarilla, by the way. So we're ready. We're ready to talk to the right people to make sure that they understand that we wish to be an important part. We don't want to, shall we say, overshadow the team, but we want to be something that is positive for the team and the fan base as well.
Well, maybe you guys try calling the office and see if you call the office and see who you could talk to.
I know that Mark is in tight with President Bedane, so I'm not going to touch that subject. But I'm sure that I'd be out there, and trust me, if there's a way for me to work with the team, and I mean this entirely seriously, my great uncle actually was the trainer for the Dodgers. And when the Dodgers moved from Brooklyn to Los Angeles, he literally said to his wife, "Well, I'll see you," and he left with the team. If there's a way for me to work for the Raiders, I can guarantee you I will be out there working for the Raiders. That's how much my love is for that team. So there's that for, and a lot of the fans are like that as well. You moved to Vegas, probably. I'm not sure whether it was tied to the move, but again, you're there in ground zero, getting things ready for us. So we look forward I definitely for sure myself look forward to seeing you more often this year. And that's another jump question for me there, Reggie. Is where will we be seeing you this upcoming year as far as appearances?
Well, I'm actually basically doing a lot of stuff here in Vegas. I come to a couple of games. That's about it.
Okay. Well, you get a chance to hang out with your alumni, I'm sure. Who do you get a chance to see on a semi-regular basis amongst the Raider alumni? And can you tell us a bit more about that portion of the organization?
Oh, okay. Frank Hawkins is out here. I see a lot of him. Napoleon, he's out here. Me and Kenny King, we hang out, we try to hang out at least 2 or 3 times out of the year. Let's see. A lot of guys come out. I was just with Greg Townsend. We did a signing over here in Vegas. It's a lot of guys coming out here doing a lot of signings. So Rod Martin, Dokie Williams been out here a couple of times. Let's see who else. Oh, we have all kinds of events out here. Lester Hayes, I just seen him. Mike Haynes, Plunkin. I see Plunkin all the time. Wow, it's a lot of guys. We see a lot of each other. We having that camp, alumni camp at Napa at the end of July. So you get to see some guys that you haven't seen in years. So we try to stay in touch.
Okay, well I mean, and it's like it is a big fraternity. I mean, you go from the college ranks to an organization that you said is one of the dynamic. I mean, one of a kind, and I'm not saying that to blow smoke, but the Raiders are a one of a kind organization. It's the Raiders and 31 other teams. That's just the way it is. So
yeah, I talked to a couple other alumni, and they say, they don't have alumni camps or alumni get together like the Raiders do. I mean, because you get a lot of guys that, just only play like 1 or 2 years with the Raiders, show up to all these events. I mean, they played, 10 or 7 years with another team, but they come hang out with the Raiders.
That's because they are the Raiders, and that's because as you said it, and again, the fan base is there, the love amongst the folks that are fans of Raider Nation to the team is second to none. And I'm not saying that just to say it. I see it. It doesn't matter if you're what color skin you have, what your ethnic background is, whether you're male or female, what other orientation you have. If you are a member of Raider Nation as a whole, you're a big part of the family. Now, there are some cousins that you might not like because of trivial things, but as a whole, you abide by them because they are members of the family, and that's none other than there. I mean, there's only one nation, and that is true. And you already said that being a alumnus of the Raiders is something that is just second to none. Now, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that as a jumping point, Reggie. You get that second Super Bowl win in Tampa with the Raiders, and then shortly thereafter, you're not with us anymore. I mean, I hate to broach a negative subject, but what happened in that portion of time in your career that led you to? I mean, obviously you're looking for work, so you found some work, but bring us through that transition of being a Raider and then not being a Raider anymore.
Well, I guess it was time for me to move on. I mean, you get up in age, and it's a lot of politics. I mean, could be age, could be the money that you're making, and they want a new change. I mean, they drafted a kid by the name of Bill Pacquiao. He was, I think he was the second pick. And then you look at it like, okay, I drafted this guy number 2, and he's not even playing. Well, he's playing, but he needs to start. So did they try? They tried him at nose. It didn't work out. I'm not saying he wasn't a nose. Well, to me, he wasn't a nose guy. He was a defensive end. So instead of a 3-man line, they went to the 4-man line. And, no more power to them, and I'm not mad at nobody, it's all about business.
Yeah.
And I got picked up I think the next day by Seattle Seahawks.
Well, they knew how good you were because you played them twice a year, brother.
Yeah. So Chuck was there. He said, he'd been watching me for years. I mean, since when he was at Buffalo. So I, stayed there 2 years, and woke up one morning and said, I can't do this no more. So call it quits after 8 years.
Well, and we actually went into that. You did do some coaching afterwards.
Yeah.
You're there in Vegas. Catch us up on what you've been doing other than obviously coaching with your son and being in Vegas, laying the groundwork for the team.
Well, I'm not coaching no more because that was in California. I was at St. Francis High School, San Fernando High School. I coached at Alamany High School. I coached some little Pop Warner football too. I'm all done, burnt out from coaching. I'm just right now. I'm retired, and the reason I moved to Vegas is because I can't afford to live in California no more.
That's true.
There's no state taxes here, and shoot, I didn't know the Rays was moving here, but now I'm happy, and they've been keeping me busy. That's I go different places, sign autographs. Between California and Vegas. That's as far as I go. Oh no, I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico a couple of times. So, but that's about all I'm doing.
Okay, well, obviously in better health and looking more svelte than the captain, that's for sure.
Yeah, trying to hang.
Now I got two more for you, Reggie, and I don't want to take up all your time because I certainly love this, and I live for this, man. Getting you guys to talk with us, and we have it on the record for people to ask questions. As far as the team presently, because we're going to talk about the Raiders of 2019. Okay, people ask me, they say, "Hey, Captain, what's your take?" And I get some guys that are saying that we're going to be like 14-2 and win the Super Bowl. And then I'm of the ilk, because I'm an analyst for a living. I actually, my glasses are not rose colored. I look at things analytically. And I said that this is year 2 of a rebuild where the roster is a hell of a lot better than it was last year. And it's going to be, so much better than last year. But the point is, to what extent? So you don't have to give me numbers, but what do you see as probably the strongest points of this team and things that we need to work on? And where do you see the Raiders come after this year? They're blowing into Vegas in 2020. So where do you see them at that time when they come to town?
Well, I'm like you, it's a rebuild. I mean, we got rid of a lot of players. We picked up a bunch of free agents that could help these kids learn them how to play the game, how to practice. The draft choice I thought was pretty good. We got some key players that we needed. Our offense should be on point this year. I mean, it should be on point. We got some guys that can block, some guys that catch the ball, and some guys that can run. And my biggest problem was our defense. I mean, we only had 13 sacks the whole year last year. We got to work on that. I mean, getting sacks is the name of the game now. We need a little help in the inside with our backers, and some help with our secondary. So we kind of picked up a lot of guys, a lot of free agents, the players that played in the league for a while that know how to fill that position. So I'm looking for a pretty decent year this year. We should be better than 8-8.
Okay, well then I'm gonna make sure that every time that they quote me, because I'm still of the thinking that if the Raiders are 100% better than they were last year, that's 8-8. I mean, literally, it's 100% better than what they were last year. They have the capabilities, in my mind, to be better than 8-8, but there's always things that you just can't count on. So I'm saying that this is the stepping stone year for literally a playoff run next year in 2020. We might make it this year, but I firmly believe that by the time we hit Vegas in 2020, that is going to be a playoff caliber team.
Yeah, because these guys don't have to learn how to play together. I mean, it just don't happen overnight. It don't happen during camp. It takes a while for you to gel. I mean, I'll be real happy if, we go to the playoffs or we go to Super Bowl this year. But when you won only 4 games last year, you got to take them baby steps.
Right. And
so
and that's it. Like I said, I see some positive things coming, but it's still going to be a bit. And I think that this is the groundwork. This is Gruden 2.0 year 2, and I see this as the most important year of the team getting together, learning how to play better. The dead wood has been scrapped away. The cancerous portions of the locker room, to my estimation, are gone. And this is the team that is going to work together. It's going to build for a strong rejuvenation over last year. And again, Reggie, I appreciate you calling in. Now, is there anything else that I peppered you with a lot of questions, but that's just the analyst in me. Is there anything that you would like to say before we end? Again, I'd keep you on forever, but I don't want to take up all your time. Anything that you want to put out there to all of the people that are listening and will watch this later on as to what's important for you to say?
Go Raiders.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Well, again, it's always a pleasure to have Raiders that we enjoy. And again, that's the cheering crowds, which means that's my outro music for the night. We've enjoyed having Mr. Reggie Kinlaw on the show. Reggie, if you can, don't hang up on me, but I'm going to end the show for all of the viewers here. If you want to continue to call in for a normal show, give me a couple minutes and I'll be on, and we'll do our regular You Don't Know Jack About Sports show on the Sunday. But again, I thank you, Reggie, for joining us here. It's been a real pleasure.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and again, don't hang up, sir. And we'll get back with you, Raider Nation, in a bit. I'm going to be signing off for a bit. It's always a pleasure. Captain Jack here. Yar! Join me further. We're going to have Lincoln Kennedy on Tuesday night, and maybe we'll get some words as to other things that are new and improved with Raider Nation. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks again for joining us here on this channel. And like Reggie said, go Raiders.